What is up, everybody? How we doing tonight? And we got a special edition of the college football show, the last one, at least game-wise, of the year, the Mac Daddy of them all, the national championship. And we got two complete teams who have fought their way to get to this point. Both teams unbeaten, the Michigan Wolverines, and the Washington Huskies. And of course, I am joined by my two lovely co hosts. That's right, I said two.
This never happens before.
No,
I'm here every day.
we're alive and well, folks.
That is correct.
And we don't
Well-
hate each other either. Not just yet. Maybe after tonight that'll change, but
I hate myself. That's about it.
I mean, hey, that's a fair assumption, I guess. Right. All right. Well, let's get into the football, gents, as I'm sure everybody has been waiting for this. Let's start with the number 2 ranked team in the nation, the Washington Huskies. And how did they get here, you might be asking yourself? Well, they beat Texas 37-31. They ended up hanging on late in that game against Quinn Ewers in the Longhorns. Now, Chooch, obviously you have been a Washington follower, Michael Penix believer since day one. Walk us through how special he is to this Washington team.
So I've been saying this all year. This defense could suck, and this team could suck all game, but any moment they need a throw, this man delivers. This man threw for almost 500 yards in Texas. This man's, mind you, he's playing with a bum arm too. Hurt himself 2 weeks ago, and the Pac-12 championship game, and this kid's just out there slinging it like it's his day job. It's impressive, and he's insanely accurate. The release on the ball, he puts it where he wants it. This kid's the real deal, folks. He's probably the MVP of college football, in my opinion. He should have been the Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, the way he acted, because, let's be honest here, a lot of people counted out both of these teams realistically, but Washington, nobody talked about, nobody gave a prayer. The thing about it was they're from the Pac-12. Pac-12's a weak conference. They don't play anybody all year. Well, this team has, every time they've been put to the test, has done enough to pull out a victory. And like Chooch was saying, Michael Penix was the reason that this team won. The run game was non-existent. The defense was very shoddy, almost came back to lose that game against Texas, but ultimately had enough to pull through. Chooch, also with this team, I know you have talked about Rome for their wide receiver for a little bit. You've talked about this defense before, how inconsistent it can be. What are the keys? If you're Washington's head coach, are you talking to your team in this preparation period to get them ready to go against Michigan?
Yeah, we're just making sure our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted, basically. We've seen this defense step up, though, when they needed to against Oregon twice this year. And when they needed to late and for a stretch there throughout the season, when they were struggling to win games, the defense would step up and give Penix back the ball. Now, I'm curious to see how Michigan's secondary responds to probably the most accurate thrower they're going to face all year.
Yeah, I mean, that's
yeah.
real.
It's Joe Burrow level accuracy in college against these secondaries. Like, he's putting the ball in windows that you're seeing Herbert put windows in now. Like, it's just absolutely insane. And that is the key. Get the ball back to Penix as quick as possible. Try and stop Michigan's defense from mounting any sort of momentum. They're going to have to try and keep them off balance. The run game can do it in Washington. It's just they got to keep that front seven in check, because I don't think the secondary is going to be able to hang with these receivers.
That's definitely a fair point to bring up. And then let us introduce the number one team in college football, the team that beat the Alabama Crimson Tide in overtime in the Rose Bowl. It was exhilarating, it was pins and needles, and it was almost a lost cause. One punt return away from having a very different talking point here would be Alabama in this spot otherwise. But as fate would have it, that is not what we're talking about here. Michigan, they've been interesting. The defense has been the story of this team for sure. The offense has always done enough to get the job done when they need it. And it's almost like Chooch has on the bottom here. Washington's unstoppable offense, destruction on their path, versing a Michigan defense that is looking to uphold and give this Michigan offense enough to win this game. Now, Jacob, I'm going to go to you because obviously you're the Michigan man out of all of us. You've been, that's your team rocking all year.
Understandable.
So, what if you're the coach here, if you're Harbaugh talking to your guys, what is the message to your team heading into Washington? How do you get them ready for this elite Washington offense?
Well, I would get the drone, be ready to put it on the Washington sideline to get all their signs ready.
Oh no.
Talking like a true Michigan fan.
No,
Gotta
but
cheat
in
to
all
win.
seriousness, seriously, I would take Washington as a legitimate threat. Not much so in the defensive side of the ball, but that offense, like what Chooch was saying earlier, Michael Penix is one of the best quarterbacks in the country right now at the college level. He's playing at an NFL level, in some opinions, in the college level. So I would tell my secondary, you need to watch where this ball is going. Look, and I know that's kind of hard to see because a lot of throws he's like huddled in the pocket, and then somehow you just see a ball flying through the air, perfectly put. Michael Penix is an amazing quarterback, so I would definitely step up pressure in the pocket, like what we've seen with the Alabama game on Sunday, as it was it right?
Saturday, I thought.
Saturday, right.
6 sacks
Where
in the first half, by the
yeah,
way.
in the first half, and then I think like one or two more in the second half. So that is probably our strongest point on that defensive side of the ball. Just getting to the quarterback as fast as possible, and with a player like Michael Penix, if you can get to him as fast as you can, he might find a way. But that's probably the biggest way to get to him is to disrupt that.
Well, and that's a tremendous point. If you're able to impact the passer, with this elite pass rush, then it gets a little scary. How does he respond? I like that take. But then also to flip the script on the offensive side, what would you like to see more out of this Michigan offense?
This whole season, really, not really early in the season, but later in the season with JJ McCarthy, you can see him with nervousness in games, right? It's just I can tell that he's nervous. With the Alabama game, the first throw was an interception. Luckily, he was out of bounds, and it didn't count as an interception, but that was almost an interception. So that's really scary with JJ McCarthy. So with the offensive side of the ball, I'm just telling him, if you don't think that this is going to be a complete pass, don't throw the ball. don't throw it. Chuck it out of bounds. Anything. Even though the Washington defense is not the brightest spot of this side of this team, it's still, you don't want to have any mistakes with this game, because turnovers with this offense, it's gonna look rough. And and I would also just utilize Blake Corum to the best of my ability with this squad.
Yeah, I mean that's a very solid answer and kind of an expected one for sure. You got to calm down JJ McCarthy. You got to use Blake Corum to the fullest. He's been waiting for this spot. I know JJ McCarthy was the one got lambasted a year ago after the loss against TCU. He said, "We're going to be back here," and not too many believed him, and they got
look
back
where we
here.
are.
Yeah, they went further.
I
Right.
also
Go ahead.
would like to bring up that this is like a possible future Big Ten championship game matchup too, like for years to come.
I forgot about
So
that.
like
You're
we're
right.
kind of getting like a sneak peek here of like we forget this playoffs. We kind of got the hey, this is the SEC versus the Big Ten, kind of in a way.
Yeah, no, I mean that's something that is a really good point to bring up. I actually forgot about that. So yeah, that's tremendous. And it really shows in terms of the future how scary the Big Ten and the SEC are. Because if you think about it, that was all the teams in. You had Texas, which is now SEC. You have Alabama, obviously SEC, Michigan, Big Ten, and Washington, who is now Big Ten. So, the standard so much shifts that maybe now we could see a Big Ten dominance, so to speak, over college football. That's a realistic possibility.
Really, yeah.
So something I did want to bring up because this never gets talked about enough in a big game scenario. The special teams difference between these two teams.
Oh.
Now, if you watched both of these games, get a little laughing. We saw a Michigan muff punt. We saw a Michigan missed field goal that really was putting this game in more of a scarier situation than it should have been for Michigan. And meanwhile, for Washington, they didn't really have to rely a whole lot on their special teams unit against Texas. But they seemed to execute whenever need be. Grady Gross hit 3 for 3 on the field goals and 4 for 4 for extra points. And their kick returns, there was no muffs. So, that has to favor Washington unless something is done immediately. They always say in these big games, whoever does the small things wins out. And I think we could see, if that doesn't get addressed, that might be the play of the game. Anyway.
Sorry, I was doing something with the stream. Sorry.
Okay, you're good. I didn't know if we were cutting there or what, but we seem to be good. So the next point that I will bring up is whose favors better in terms of coaching? Because I know it sounds like an obvious answer, but think about this. Michigan's coach has choked many times in the playoffs before and even got slaughtered by Georgia in the round of 4. Washington, this is DeBoer's first time coming up into this moment. So, who would you say the pressure is more on to make the more massive impact in this game?
Michigan. I mean, Harbaugh is kind of
Michigan.
expected to win this year,
100%.
right? But I mean, as far as I think is ready for this, I think it's Washington. I think DeBoer has done a great job with this team, and they've had 3 really big games. Actually, essentially since they beat Oregon that first time, every game they've played has been big. So this team's had game after game to be ready. For Michigan, it was built up to the Ohio State game, and then from there it was okay. Now we're going to go out for a cakewalk in the Big Ten championship game, and then worry about who we got to play in the Final Four. So I think Washington's more in that they've been in that mindset longer, and Penix just looks way too cool under any sort of pressure.
What about you, Jacob?
For me, the pressure is more on Michigan, obviously. Jim Harbaugh has been the coach for how long Michigan, like since 2013, 2014, around
No,
that?
2016, I want to
Oh
say.
yeah, 2016.
18.
I don't know why.
No,
I always think
2018.
as soon
That's right.
2018. I always think that when he lost the Super Bowl in San Francisco, he went immediately to Michigan for some reason. I always think
No, it
that.
was like 2 years of suckage that he moved.
Yeah. With that, what has he really done in the Michigan program other than stomp Ohio State in the past 3 years?
2 Big Ten
Because they've
titles.
choked in the
Well, now 3.
playoffs. Yeah, 2 Big Ten titles, but this year was kind of like, it's kind of like picking up a piece of paper and then expecting it to be a challenge.
Yeah, every big
For this
every big
year's Big
Power
Ten.
5 conference was weak, but the Pac-12 this year,
Yeah,
like
That's
weaker
a
than
fair
usual.
statement.
like
Weaker than usual.
yeah. punt. That's all I've seen in the Big Ten the Big Ten championship. But this year it's like Jim Harbaugh has this chance. He has a really great roster on him, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And you have a monster running back who just broke the record for most rushing touchdowns by a Michigan Wolverine. You've accomplished the most amount of wins in NCAA history with over 1,000 wins. Like, this is a very landmark season for Michigan, and all this stuff happening in this season for the Wolverines just to lose in the Natty. Getting here is an accomplishment within itself, but you got to close it out big time.
Well, and something too I wanted to bring up as well in terms of Michigan. This caught my eye during the Alabama game, and I was wondering, do we see a little bit of a shift here? So Michigan has 3 really good running backs in their stable. They got Blake Corum, they got Donovan Edwards, and then they got Samijah Morgan. And Morgan only got 1 carry for 6 yards. Donovan Edwards only had 4 for 11. And Blake Corum carried the load there with 19. He got 83 yards and 1 touchdown. My question going into this Washington game, is there an emphasis on, we should get Donovan Edwards more involved, maybe in the passing game? He's a little quicker. Should we get Morgan more involved, in terms of being just kind of a downhill runner, because that's what he's mainly known for. And then also Tyler Morris finally made his first touchdown against Alabama, and he like jetted off. He was really fast. So would the emphasis more so be on these players that we haven't seen a whole lot all year, or do you think we just kind of stick with Blake Corum and we kind of go like, yeah, we'll feature him, maybe twice?
Well, the answer is not to just stick to Blake Corum. You got like you said, you got 3 prominent backs with Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, and Khalil Mullings. You don't stick to just one back and then expect to win. You got to alternate these a lot because you can't just rely on this team. Yeah, like what I've been saying the whole time, the Washington defense is, not their strongest feature, but it's still nothing to, just brush off. You got to alternate this stuff. And like what that trick, not I don't want to call it a trick play, the play last week with Bama when the running back tossed it back to JJ McCarthy, like stuff like that, when it's like surprising to see from a Michigan team that just catches the defense off guard. They did not expect that. Like stuff like that is, really ballsy stuff.
Right.
But it's stuff that can win you games like that when you don't know who's going to get the ball.
Yeah. I think Washington's seen that, get more running backs involved in the passing game. That's the Pac-12. That's the West Coast offense. So if Harbaugh is going to try and beat Washington at their own game, he's going to have to be proficient. And if anyone can do it, it's him.
That's true.
If anyone can do it, it's him. He did it in San Fran. He can do it with this team if he really wanted to. But I don't know. I think the Washington defense is more athletic than a lot of people also give it credit for. So they'll be able to hang. And this is going to be a fun one. That's all I got to say. Like, you can make a million arguments for all of it in this game because it can all happen.
People will cry and people will laugh all at the same time.
That's true. Yeah.
This game will be entertaining nonetheless. Like, whoever's the outcome. Oh, I will break a TV if one outcome happens, I'll burn my house down. If
Oh my goodness!
an outcome happens, but it will just be a fun game to watch.
Absolutely, it absolutely will. And the line for this game, ironically enough, is Michigan 4.5. And I'd say that's pretty fair. I honestly was expecting a little bit more disrespect towards Washington. I thought this was going to be higher, so glad to see that that is not the case here.
Yeah, currently, for the match, where was it? Yeah, the matchup predictor, it has 74.3% going to Michigan, winning this game, and I'm taking that, honestly. I will 1,000% be taking that. Obviously, you already know what I was going to be trying to. You already know which team I was picking in this.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that here shortly.
Yeah, but I was expecting a little bit more leniency for Washington. Like I thought it'd be closer, maybe 50-50, close to it, but apparently not.
Well, the amount of Michigan fans over the amount of Washington fans, everyone's saying that because Harbaugh.
That's true. Yeah, Harbaugh, he's been in the spot before.
1,000%.
He lost that Super Bowl, but he's been in that spot before.
Well, you didn't have to drop the hammer. Come on.
We've been reminded.
We all know the only Harbaugh that's clutch is his brother.
Maybe.
He's got what, 2 Super Bowl rings?
Who Harbaugh? John Harbaugh?
Yeah.
No, he has 1. Because he wasn't with the Giants. He didn't when he faced the Giants.
But the Ravens also won one in the early 2000s too.
Yeah, that was with the Giants. That was facing the Giants. So he just has 1. Anyway.
You could definitely make the argument for more, though. He's good. We get it.
He's going to get a second one. So,
all right. Bold prediction, love it. And also, I did want to bring this up too, because everybody when they talk about Washington, they always talk about Udunze for their wide receiving core. But what about Jalen Polk? What about Jack Westover? Like, there's a lot of playmakers on this Washington team. I don't think they get enough in terms of being highlighted. Do you think that has any effect on these players to come out and try and even, make their name a little bit more known? Go, yeah, I am that good. You overlooked me. Maybe even have a breakout game in this type of environment.
Well, it's also the question like that, but it's also even if the coach lets him get out there and sort of be in the spotlight with with highlighted plays where it's just throw to this certain guy. So it's even oh man, have I seen enough of you to be trusted in a big scenario like this? Like it's 3rd down, 3rd and long. I don't want you to get the ball yet because I haven't seen enough of you.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But yeah, with Michael Penix, obviously the 2 big guys are the Rome Odunze, right? And then Jalen Polk. Yep. So those are going to be the 2 hot keys for this Washington offense.
Yeah. I mean, the run game can work. It's downhill. I don't know why it's downhill, but it's downhill. So, kind of stuff it down your throat. Then, hey, we're going to open it up now.
We're going to open it up, and the plane will be coming in a little bit now. Just hold on.
Bring it in. Gotta land. Bring it in. Right here. Meanwhile, his receiver's right in the bread. And Penix is okay, watch this. Look at the wrist.
He pulls back that bow and he lets it go. Right?
Exactly.
Man, that's got to be one of the coolest player taunts we've ever seen. He does that archer pose and just nails it every time.
Yeah. All right, enough praising about Washington.
All right.
I mean, let's be honest here. Even if Michigan does win this, it's going to get vacated in 5 years, anyways.
Oh no! I mean,
Yeah.
I gotta see that, but like, no, man, don't kill the
Pizza,
hope.
I'm sorry, dude.
We've looked and we don't like Jim Harbaugh. We're evacuating Michigan Stadium. We're gonna bulldoze it because Harbaugh looked at the sideline. So
All right,
invalid
well,
win.
I think we've covered everything we need to cover. You gentlemen ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get it. All right, Washington, Michigan. A game that the last time these two teams played, it was in 2020, and Michigan got the upper hand in the big house. Washington, I'm sure they remember that, and they're looking, of course, for a national championship. Michigan's a 4.5 point favorite here in NRG Stadium. Washington's been doubted all year, and they're looking to make the claim on a perfect undefeated season. And then Michigan has been kind of talked up all year. A lot of excitement, a lot of hype. Ohio State week was the massive week for them. Are they legit? Are they for real? And they ended up beating Ohio State. And then they got tested with Alabama. They came through when it mattered most and took it home in overtime. Chooch, you get the first crack at this game. Where are you going?
Listen, I'm gonna go Washington here for a simple reason of this. Michigan has not seen an offense as complete as this Washington offense. They're gonna say, "Oh, Bama this, oh, Bama that." Look at the last play call. All you needed to know. Look at Jalen Milroe's play for a little bit. All you need to know about this team. Hell, go back to almost every week of the season with Cole and I criticizing this Jalen Milroe kid until like 2 weeks ago or like 2 games ago. We said some good stuff, and then he went and did his normal thing again. So Penix, 4,600 yards. Johnson has 1,100 yards on the ground. He has a few more than Corum. And Odunze has 1,500 yards receiving. That's balance. That's spreading the wealth. And I think Michigan's going to be spread thin in this one. The secondary is going to struggle to keep up with his air raid at some point. I'm going Huskies. The defense prevails.
Look at Jacob's reaction.
Fine. You can hate it all you want.
All right. Well, Jacob, I have a feeling I know where you're going, but take us there. Take us why you're going with who you
Okay. Man, it's just like we're finally here. I thought I would know what to say, but I really don't. So I'm just gonna wing it here. Michigan has been doubted the whole season. Oh, Ohio State is going to beat Michigan. Oh, Penn State is going to have a really good chance of getting Michigan. Oh, Alabama is going to stop Michigan. And we have persevered the whole season. With this offense and this defense, this is a complete team. And Chooch, like what you said, this Michigan defense is not ready for this Washington offense. I don't even know if this Washington offense is ready for this Michigan defense.
Ooh.
I am obviously going to go with the Michigan Wolverines, and all I'm going to leave it off with that is bet. And I'll see you in the Natty.
I love it. He brought back the bet. All right. Well, I guess let's get to the end. Last pick here. Chooch, I'm going to need your help with this one. Okay.
What's up?
So, Alabama and Texas are playing, right?
Who?
Yeah, Alabama and Texas. Isn't that the game?
No, that was like 2 months ago, guy.
What? So you're saying
Dude, you're
Nick
behind.
Saban
I'm a
lost?
lawyer. You're behind, guy.
Oh, but seriously, like Texas made it, right?
No, they lost to Washington. You don't remember?
How did they lose to Washington? I thought they were going to stomp Washington.
Well, Texas kept shooting themselves in the foot. They gave Washington about 15 free yards about every drive on defense. I mean, like offensive penalties for Texas. Let's see. Michael Penix is him. Michael Penix. 493 reasons for Michael Penix.
My goodness, 493. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, against Texas.
All right. Well, Jacob, can you help me out with this? Michigan, did they really beat Alabama?
They really did.
They did. Like,
They
this
really
isn't a joke. It's not prank.
Yeah, I think I'm awake.
Okay,
It wasn't a dream. It was not a dream. I still see them at 14-0 when they faced Alabama.
Okay. I just needed to confirm because this just doesn't feel real. I'm just gonna be honest. In all my years of watching college football, this is the weirdest national championship I have ever experienced. With that being said, I love the Michigan defense. I love Harbaugh. I think he's a really good coach for what he's done with this team. The belief when he came to Michigan, it was just like, man, they're going to be, mediocre as always. They'll be second brother to Ohio State. And then the last 3 years happened, and they kept failing though. The last two to get to the spot. Final four, lost to Georgia. Next one, lost to TCU, got upset. Everybody kept going, myself included. They don't have a chance at being at the spot. Well, man, was I wrong. They're here. Washington, on the other hand, nobody, and I mean nobody, go back to the beginning of the season. Nobody saw this coming. And every week, I've doubted these guys consistently. And I said, nah, they're not going to beat Oregon. And then they beat Oregon. And I said, nah, they're going to lose to Washington State. They beat Washington State. Every game I've doubted this team, they've proven me wrong. Well, not this time, because I'm going with Washington. Michael Penix, this offense is going to get it done. End of story. The Michigan, they can hang on for a little bit, but Penix is going to get through. These wide receivers are going to have enough. I'm going to say final score, first prediction on the show, 38-28. Washington.
All right.
Hey, we would love to prove you both of you wrong. That's all I'll say.
I hope they don't.
Well,
make up for all that cheating they did.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh.
Chooch.
But in all seriousness, let's close it out here as we always do. I hope you enjoy your college football Monday. It's kind of weird. Wish they just did it on Saturday like every other week. But enjoy your national championship. I know we will, and it's going to be electric. Let's end it as we do. God bless you all in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. And we will see you for our next show coming next week.